Well, good morning and welcome to 755 Live, about 5 minutes of what Jesus said. We are live here in downtown Weatherford, Thursday, September 2nd, at Ironworks Coffee. And it's a beautiful day, and we're just expecting great things. You can find a different command of Jesus every weekday at our Bible plan at bible.today.church. Some other resources there to just help us read the Bible together and learn to obey the commands that Jesus gave us. That's how he told us to make disciples, by teaching disciples to obey all the things that he commanded. These Jesus said segments are soundbite versions of what Jesus commanded, or the examples or teaching that he gave. And today's Jesus said is be filled with power. I'm going to read from a couple of different translations to start with. This comes from Luke 24:49, where Jesus is promising the disciples. He said in the New Living Translation, "And now I will send the Holy Spirit, just as my Father promised, but stay here in the city until the Holy Spirit comes and fills you with power from heaven." Luke 24:49 in the NET version says, "And look, I'm sending you what my Father promised, but stay in the city until you have been clothed with power from on high." So be filled with power actually has a couple of meanings. It means to be filled with from the inside, but it also means to be clothed almost like from the outside. These are some of the last instructions Jesus gave to his disciples while still on earth. And these disciples, some who were still struggling with disbelief, would become world changers. What changed in them? I mean, Simon Peter ran away when he was confronted before Jesus' crucifixion. What changed? Well, they were endued with power. They were filled. And that word in the original language that is translated clothed and translated filled, it literally means to sink into clothing, like to put on, to clothe oneself, like putting on a garment. Jesus promised that we would be filled with, endued with power. The perfect example of being filled with that power is Jesus himself. Just talking about Simon Peter. Well, in Acts 10, Simon Peter was at the house of Cornelius beginning to spread the good news of Jesus to the Gentiles. And he was explaining who Jesus was. In Acts 10:38, he says, "With respect to Jesus from Nazareth, that God anointed him with the Holy Spirit and with power. He went around doing good and healing all that were oppressed by the devil, because God was with him." Even Jesus was filled with that power. In fact, he started his ministry in Luke 4:18 and 19 by quoting from Isaiah, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has anointed me to proclaim the good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim release to the captives and the regaining of sight to the blind, to set free those who are oppressed, and to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." That's what the power of the Holy Spirit is for. We are to be filled with, endued, clothed with power. Why? So that we can do what Jesus did. He came to set the captive free. And the power that the Holy Spirit gives us is so that we can be just like Jesus. And we also can have the same power that sets captives free. In Acts 1:8, Jesus said, "You will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and in all Judea and Samaria and to the farthest parts of the earth." He said that you would be witnesses filled with power, here, near, far, and wide. And that power is not just so we can have pep rallies. That power is not just so our lives change, although that's part of it. That power is so we can literally be like Jesus, filled with his power, filled with his goodness, setting the captives free. Jesus said, "Be filled with power." Are we praying that? Are we asking that? Are we believing that? How can we put that into action?